Hi guys, in this video we're gonna kill the enemies. Okay, we're gonna kill the enemies. So we need to give some health to enemies. Okay, so we need to open up the enemy script. Okay, we will give some amount of health to enemy. So that's why we are going to open up the on the top assign public. Okay, public int. This will be integer value. We will call it uh, health. Okay, max health or health. Suppose max health. Okay, max health. By default we are going to give them like 5 unit. Okay, 5 unit. So we also gonna take damage. Okay, control s on your keyboard and add back to unity. We given 5 units of health to enemy. So what we gonna do, in the player we will create a attack function. Okay, whenever the player attack, enemy will take damage. So we also need to make take damage function to enemy as script. Okay, to enemy script to take damage from player. Okay, so into player. Okay, if I select the player and go to animation, as you can see enemy attacks. Okay, over here we will create a empty game of empty child object. We will name that to attack point. We will create circle around the attack point. Okay, and if we press left mouse button and the attack animation as animation is playing, so we will create the circle in that duration. If the circle collide with our enemy. Okay, so we will also gonna assign the enemy to enemy layer. So what we need to do to for layer mask. Okay, for layer mask we will only gonna check the enemy layer. To do that, we need to select the enemy. Okay, in the inspector, as you can see layer. Okay, layer, add layer. Okay, add layer, name that layer to enemy. Okay, name that layer to enemy and add back to again to enemy. Okay, and then select that layer what you named enemy. Okay, we will know this object only. We will only gonna add only gonna attach only gonna assign the layer into this sprite. Okay, not this child's. Okay, as you can see these are default layers. Okay, but if I select the enemy, as you can see enemy layer is we assign it. Okay, so what we gonna do, we will create. Okay, we will create a attack point, and we will create a circle that around the attack point. Okay, if we just click left mouse button, if the player attack enemy. Okay, if the circle collide with our enemy layer, so enemy will take damage. Okay, so what we need to do, so right click on player game object. Okay, create empty game object, name that game object to attack point. Okay, attack attack point, and move it somewhere here. Okay, in front of player. Okay, and select any gizmos. I am going to select the yellow one. Okay, so we will create a circle around this attack point. Also we need to override. Okay, override and apply all to save to change in prefab also, the player prefab. Okay, so we're gonna open up the player script once more. Okay, we're gonna open up the player script once more. Okay, player, we will create a attack function. Okay, so we will make it public. Okay, we will make it public. Over here, as you can see, we already created an attack function. Okay, we already created this attack function. What we gonna do, we gonna firstly we gonna so in that. Oh, yeah, so what we gonna do, we gonna create a circle around this attack point. Okay, so we need this attack point position. Okay, so what we gonna do, we will come up to top, we will create empty transform position. Okay, we will call that this one to attack. Okay, attack point, something like that. Okay, and control s on your keyboard to save this and head back to Unity. You will able to see an empty field of transform. So we will drag the attack point. Okay, and then we're gonna create a circle or create a collider around this attack point. Okay, and whenever this circle get collide with our enemy layer, enemy will take damage. Okay, so what we're gonna do, as you can see, attack point field appear empty. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna drag the attack point there. Now we have the attack point. What we're gonna do, uh, we're gonna do over in the attack function. Okay, in the attack function, firstly we need to use this function. Okay, physics2d dot overlap circle, over overlap circle. Okay, overlap circle. This will take three arguments. Okay, firstly the where from you want to create the circle. Okay, we want to create around the attack point. Okay, attack point dot position we have to pass, and you have to specify the radius, means how much this attack point radius will be. So we're gonna, let's say we will come up to top again. So we will create public float. Okay, public float, we will call this attack. Okay, attack radius. Okay, by default we are going to set it to half unit. Okay, so we are creating public float attack radius. Okay, so we need to pass as second parameter our attack radius. Okay, attack radius. And the third thing, it gonna check which layer you want to attack. So we will attack the enemy, so we will create a layer mask for enemy layer. Okay, so we again need to come off top. So we will create public. Okay, public layer mask. Okay, public layer mask, we will call this enemy. Okay, enemy layer. Okay, enemy layer, control s, and again go to that function. We will pass enemy layer as a layer mask, so it will only check the enemy. Okay, enemy layer. So this statement over here, it will be true or false if it collide with enemy layer. Okay, if the circle collide with enemy layer, so this whole function will be true. If this is not going to collide with that enemy layer, this function will be false. So we're gonna put it into a collider. Okay, we're gonna put it into collider 2d. We will call this one hit, and we're gonna set it to directly this. Okay, this will be collider. This is collider 2d. Okay, so if the circle colliding with our enemy layer, so hit over here will be true. If this is not going not colliding with enemy layer, this hit over here will be false. So let's check if hit. Okay, if means if hit equals true, means if we collided with enemy layer. Okay, an enemy layer. Okay, so what we gonna call the take damage function from enemy script. Okay, enemy will take damage. So we will say debug. Okay, debug. Okay, debug dot log, we will call this enemy taking damage. Okay, enemy taking damage, and control s on your keyboard to save this. So this function over here will be true or false, and we are putting into this hit. Okay, so we also want to plus, we will say. Okay, wait, plus we will call hit dot transform. Sorry, hit dot game object dot name. So we also so we also printing out the whatever we colliding with, we definitely colliding with our enemy, so the enemy name will print out. This statement will print out if the circle colliding with our enemy layer. Okay, control s on your keyboard. Okay, control s on your keyboard and head back to unity. When we calling this function, whenever we clicking the left mouse button, we are calling this function, attack function. And the attack function triggering the attack animation as well it's checking if the circle colliding with our enemy layer or not. If the circle colliding with enemy layer, so this overhit hit becomes true. If hit became true, so that means enemy taking damage. Okay, and we also printing out the enemy hit dot whatever we colliding with, we going to that game object and we are printing out the name. And control s on your keyboard to save this and add back to unity. So it will work. Just wait for compiling it. Okay, just wait for compiling it. You will able to see. It will take time. Also, if you are new to my channel, then subscribe for more tutorials. I will be happy for that. uh, it's up to you, by the way. So as you can see, we cannot see the circle. Okay, we cannot see the circle. So what we enemy layer over here, as you can see, we need to assign to enemy, because this enemy has enemy layer, this enemy has enemy layer, a layer enemy. So for layer mask enemy layer, okay, we are passing the enemy, so it will the circle will only check the enemy layer. Okay, it will ignore whatever any layer, like this one grid. Okay, grid has default layer, so it will ignore, but it will check enemy layer, as you can see. So we also cannot see the circle around this. Okay, what we need to do, we need to go over to player script once again, and we have to use on draw gizmo selected function. This is unity default function. Okay, whenever we draw something, it's get call, it's unity function. Okay, what we gonna do, we gonna draw. Okay, gizmos, we have to type gizmos. Okay, gizmos dot draw where. Okay, where sphere. Okay, we will where sphere. This function will take two arguments, the position where you want to draw the sphere or the circle, and the and the radius. Okay, and the radius, a second thing. Okay, we want to create the circle around the attack point dot position, and we want attack radius, like, sorry, attack radius, we need to pass this attack radius. Okay, control s on your keyboard and head back to unity. Okay, head back to unity. We will get some error, because if we don't assign first the attack point, over here this function cannot find the attack position, if it's not been assigned. Okay, so just ignore it for now, I will explain. So as you can see right now the circle, you can adjust the radius over the inspector. Over here player script, you can adjust the radius. Okay, I am like this much. Okay, so if I select the attack animation of the player, over here we need to put this attack point over here, because the sword just in far more far like this. Okay, so I'm just going to drag it over here. Okay, so if I select the player, so we can adjust the radius over here. When this need to be put it down little more. Okay, so as you can see, it's fitting now. You can also choose color to gizmos. Okay, so what we need to do, we need to do this gizmos. Okay, gizmos dot color, equal to you can set any color. I am going to set red one. Okay, color dot red. Okay, control S and add back to once again to Unity. You will able to see the circle gonna change the color to red. Okay, so if we click the left mouse button, and then if the circle collide with this enemy layer, so enemy will take damage. Okay, but instead of what we are doing, we are just printing out this message, enemy taking damage, and we are printing out the whatever we the circle collided with or get collide. So we just going to that game object and printing out the name. So as we can see, the name of this game object is enemy, and this has enemy layer. As you can see, if we go to console, okay, if you can find the console, go to window, okay, then general, then find the console or control plus shift plus C. Okay, so if I now hit play, okay, if I now hit play, and if I attack the enemy, you will able to see the enemy taking damage. Okay, message gonna appear in the console. Okay, so this not okay. So as you can see, enemy taking damage. Okay, enemy taking damage. Okay, so as you can see over here, enemy taking damage. Instead of printing out, what we gonna do, we're gonna decrease enemy health. So we need to open up the enemy script. Okay, enemy script, we need to make a tag take damage function to enemy script. So, that will keep track of the enemy health. Okay, that will keep track of the enemy health. So we need to open up the enemy script once again. We will over here we're gonna make it public, because we're gonna call this function over here as over here. Instead of printing out the message, we will call that function. Okay, we will call that function over here, because the enemy circle, oh sorry, the player circle over here. Okay, the player circle over here, if that collide with our enemy layer, the enemy has enemy layer. Okay, so enemy will take damage. So we are checking that thing over here. As you can see, we are checking. Okay, we are checking if the circle colliding with enemy layer or not. If it's colliding with, means hit, if hit equals to true, or if hit is true, then we are just printing out the message. We will, so firstly we need to go to enemy script. We will assign the public take damage function over here. We need to make it public. We're gonna call it from the player class. Okay, so what we're gonna do, public, okay, public void, we will call this take damage. Okay, take damage. Okay, we as an argument, we going to pass the damage parameter. Okay, we're gonna replace this by the way by 1. Okay, we will replace this by the way later. Okay, so what we gonna do, we assign it the max health of enemy, which is 5. Okay, what we gonna do, if this function get called, okay, if this function get called, enemy will take damage. How much damage it will take, we're gonna subtract from max health. Okay, max health minus equal damage. Okay, minus equal damage. So we are let's say damage is 1. Okay, let's say for the first time max health is 5. So if we calling this function, max health is 5 and damage is 1. So minus 5 minus 1, which is became 4. So max health becomes 4. And if we call this function once again, so this will be 4 minus 1, which will be 3. And if we call it once more, then 3 minus 1, which will be 2, and so on. So it somehow it will reach 0. If it's below 0, so we will check if max health, okay, max health is lesser than or equal to 0. So what we gonna do, we not gonna subtract any more health. because we already reached zero health. Okay, so what we gonna do, we gonna type return. Return means after return, this whatever you write, it will not work. Okay, so let's suppose our enemy max health is 1, so 1 minus 1, which becomes 0, so we reach at 0, so 0 and 0 minus 1, which will be minus, but we are returned over here, as you can see, which reach, if it's if the max health becomes 0, so this over here line, this line will not gonna call. Okay, so after reaching 0, we're gonna also gonna print out debug dot log. We will say this. Okay, this means this whatever we attaching this script. Okay, this dot name, and plus we need to type the string diet. Okay, so this as we know, we attached this script to enemy. Okay, enemy, so enemy diet, as you can see, this dot name diet. Okay, so we're gonna call this function whenever we so control s on your keyboard to save this, whenever we like attack the enemy. Okay, enemy will lose one enemy will lose 1 unit. Okay, 1 unit. We need to call that function. We made the function, but we are never calling, so we will call this function to enemy when we gonna attack the player. Sorry, when we gonna attack the enemy, we will call that function. So if we go to player script. Okay, player script, and if you select over here. Okay, over here we will call that function. Okay, over here we will call that function. To call that function, you have to add event. Okay, add event, go to player methods, and then attack. Okay, attack. Okay, so we are calling from our animation event. Okay, you just have to tick over here, as you can see. Okay, so we are calling that function over here. So what we need to do, we need to go over to player script once more. Over here, as you can see, we just printing enemy taking damage and the name of the game object. Instead of printing out the name, uh, we will go to heat. Okay, heat dot get component. Okay, get component, we will get the enemy script component. Okay, enemy, then we will call the take damage function. Okay, as an argument you can pass anything over here. As you can see, take damage, as an argument you can choose 1 2. I'm gonna choose 1. Okay, so firstly, this function over here, void attack, it's checking if the circle is colliding with any enemy layer or not. Okay, if it's colliding with enemy layer, if this circle, okay, if this circle around this player, if this circle colliding with enemy layer. Okay, enemy layer, so this hit became true. If it's not colliding with enemy layer, okay, this hits became false. But if hit is true, you can directly set to equals true, or you can set it like this. If hit, okay, what we are doing, if it's true means we are colliding with our enemy layer. So what we are doing, so hit, we are getting the enemy script. Okay, we are colliding with our enemy layer. Okay, if I select the enemy, so we are what we doing, hit. Okay, hit dot get component, then what we are getting this enemy script, and from this enemy script we are calling this take damage function. And take damage function gonna subtract 1 unit. As an argument we pass 1, so 1 unit we are subtracting whenever this function getting called. Okay, control s on your keyboard and add back to unity. You will able to see if you select the enemy. Okay, if I play, you will able to see, as you can see, max health is 5, but when we attack the enemy, it will be 0. Oh, so so we need to play this. Okay, so as you can see, but we are doing it multiple times. I don't know if I open up the, I think we did some mistakes. uh Sorry, if we don't call this function. Okay, so we will separately create that this function. Okay, we will separately create this function. We will call this like, public void attack enemy. Okay, attack enemy, and put this, we need to make it public, and control X. Okay, and control V. I'm gonna explain what am I doing. Okay, so firstly what we are doing, if we are clicking the left mouse button, okay, we are triggering the attack function, and attack function over here just playing the attack animation. Okay, if we head back to Unity, okay, and we made a separate function attack enemy, so we're gonna call this function attack enemy function through an attack animation. Okay, attack animation. Just wait for, we need to add event. Just wait for compiling it. Okay, so if we select the player, okay, if we select the player, we will go to attack over here. Okay, over here add an event by clicking this, and go to player methods in the inspector. Okay, and then attack enemy. So we are calling that function. If we now play, and then if we select the enemy, we will definitely gonna see the enemy taking damage. We are calling that function from different. As you can see, this is working. So enemy max health becomes 0, and then we are printing, if we jump over to once more, as you can see, enemy died. So this is for now. In the next tutorial we will destroy the enemy game object. Okay, if you have any question like that, comment below. Okay, and thanks for watching this video, and if you enjoy it, then like this video. Okay, and share it with your friends who are willing to learn game development in general. And lastly, thanks for watching this video. Okay, bye bye.